Hello, how are you? Welcome to my soul food restaurant of stories. Now, this restaurant doesn't feed your belly, but it feeds your heart, it feeds your mind, it feeds your very soul, right? Hopefully. That's the goal, anyways. But listen, freewill2.com, that's a website where you can find all the full versions of the videos, right? And I am Miss Janice, your server, and I hope to be serving you some delicious food, right? Okay, now listen, this is the pet peeves section, and another pet peeve I have is now this pet peeve I kind of stumbled across when working in management. I have about 30 years or so background in management. Even though when I was 30 years old, I was reading on the third grade level, but I worked my way up from waitress all the way up to general manager, and then some other management jobs in different industries. But I picked this up in management. They always concerned about the bottom line, and every business is about the bottom line, right? But when I worked in management, my employees were my family. And if they were young adults, they were my sons and my daughters. And if they were older, they were mommy and poppy, and or sister or whatever. But we were a family. That's how I cared about them, because we spent a lot of time with employees outside of your home, so it's like your second home. And so I would always pull my staff to the side, and I would tell them, I said, listen, let me tell y'all something right now. I said, if anybody ever come up here and try to rob this joint, ask them. Now the main part of my management background was in the restaurant industry, hospitality. And so I said, listen, somebody's coming here trying to rob this joint. Ain't no heroes here. I'm gonna tell you that straight up. I'm not no hero, and we just gonna give them what they want, and we gonna send them on their way, because we gonna all go back home this evening like we came to work. We gonna go home in one piece. We ain't chasing down somebody trying to stop these people from robbing these people's stuff, because you know why? At the end of the day, you don't put your life on the line for $100 or $200 or $300 or a soda or a six-pack of beer or whatever they coming in to take. If you work at an establishment and it's crime going on in there, you either need to try to find you another job, or you need to tell them they need to hire some security, because you are not it. Now listen, they have insurance to cover that. And a lot of times they have insurance to cover loss and theft, right? And there's a percentage, that they allocate for that. And so, and a lot of times they will fire you if you chasing after somebody that's trying to steal them people's stuff. If they want to steal them people's stuff, and them people don't want to hire somebody to protect people from stealing their stuff, you back up and just let them have it, and just say, child, you hired me to ring up stuff. You didn't hire me to chase after nobody. Now listen, let me tell you something. I was in a grocery store one day, and you're supposed to mind your own business, but since management is in my blood, every time I go into an establishment, I always think I own the joint, or I'm the manager there, or whatever. If I see something out of order, if it's water on the floor, I'm like, go put a wet cone down there and get somebody to, I go in there and start giving orders like I work there. And I have to tell myself, Janice, leave these people alone and let them run their business, because you don't work here, you're not on their payroll, but it's a habit, right? And so I'm in the grocery store, and these young ladies, right, they were stealing. And so they had bags of stuff, right? They had fat bags. Now I don't recommend stealing to anybody, because I was married to an inmate he was the inmate for 23 years. We were married for 28 years, but he was the inmate for 23 of those years. 7 months after we got married, the police came and broke the door down. You ever that's a whole nother story, but listen, I ain't gonna get into that now, but I am gonna tell you about it now, because that's part of the journey. Well, anyways, I spent a lot of time every weekend going up to the prison to visit him, and seeing so many people locked up and in cages. And I was like, dang, man, people just stop doing crime, because we're going to talk about that. But anyway, so these girls was in the grocery store, and they were stealing. And so stop stealing. That's the message. A message within a message. Don't do that. It's not worth it. At the end of the day, it's not worth it. So, the manager, she gonna be chasing after him and running after him all out the door and stuff. And she came back there with her phone and she was all proud of herself, because she had chased down the bad guys. I said, don't you ever do that again. Child, I had to check myself because I was like all up in that lady's face. I said, your family want to see you come home tonight. I said, in this company, if they can't cover the loss, then so be it. But you don't run after them because they can run you down with their car. They can have a weapon in the car. If they want to protect their assets, let them hire somebody that's trained to do it. Sweetie, don't you ever do that again. Now, I know management don't like me telling y'all this, but I'm telling y'all this: save your life. Don't run behind people try. Now, if you're in a position of leadership or you something, you want to try to protect their stuff within, the parameters that they giving you, but chasing after the bad guys, not one of them. That's outside the box. This is a situation where you want to stay inside the box because you want to go home safe and you don't want to lose your life over their money. Especially when they don't even want to pay you and give you the hours anyway that you deserve. And they want to be treating you like whatever. And they in their penthouse and on their yachts and stuff. And then you chasing down a criminal for $30 worth of food and they run you over with their car. No, that ain't right. So we don't do that. We don't do that. So that's one of my pet peeves. Don't chase behind nobody stealing from the company you work for. If they have a theft problem, let them take the proper precautions to solve their own problem. Because you not the police and you not the security guard. You just ring it up and say, may I take your order and what can I get for you? And thank you and have a nice day and do come back again. Okay? Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this pet peeve. And don't be chasing after nobody. No, sweetie. No, you ain't finna lose no life over no $50. Let them have. I told my employees, I say, ask them, do they want a burger or some fries if they come in here to rob? Just be nice to them. Don't be trying to, but don't ask them for no burger and fries. I was just trying to be funny, but I let them know. I put it around. I said, because y'all want to play hero. I'm telling you straight up, I ain't playing no. I'm the GM and I'm going to be gone because my family need me. This restaurant don't need me like that. They'll fire me in a minute. But they'll get rid of you so fast and won't even blink an eye. You just a social security number. You just an employee number in a lot of these companies. So don't put your life on the line for them because they definitely won't do it for you. Okay? Talk to you very much. I hope you enjoyed this pet peeve. I hope you enjoyed this pet peeve series.